Hello, welcome to another episode of Get Rich and Fit Tryin. So after a couple trials and errors, we finally got everything right. So now we're gonna go ahead and get right to it. I'll see you on the other side. Let's go. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Get Rich and Fit Tryin. We got a lot that we're going to be covering, so we're going to go straight to over to the charts. There's this is an interesting move. Market's already open, so getting ourselves a nice little push over here. So if you haven't been on here before, the way this works, we like to do our opening range. Our opening range is built on 3 levels. All right, look at UPS. Let's see. I'm gonna check that out later. Oh, okay. Got Starbucks. That one's trying to make some moves. So we're looking at the first 15 minutes of the market. And when that first 15 minutes is established, we wait for the close above or the close below of that first 15 minutes with a 5-minute candle right after. So that said, we got a little bit of a scalp opportunity here. I was thinking about it, but I'm going to go ahead and let it go because it's so far removed. And the last thing I want is for me to turn around and get hit with something crazy. But we got this little micro trend right here. A little bit of a deviation of that trend. Look at that. Nice little push again. And then we got another deviation of that right here. All right. Really starting to establish ourselves. We at 625 over here. Let me go check out everything else that's going on. Let's go check out oil real quick. See what's going on over there. Nice little pop up there. This is yesterday's opening range. We'll get rid of that. But a good solid break of structure here. And my other one is gold. Now gold, I still look at this as potentially can give us a bounce. So I'm going to see if that give us that bounce today. All right, let's get back over to NQ. Make sure I got all my stuff logged in the way I need it to. Alright, I think I'm good to go. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm good to go. So I just need a... Ooh, nice little rejection there. Alright, we get a nice little pop back up here. So I may be considering something. Let's go ahead and start to look at some of these other time frames. Let's see, what do I have? You know what, let me come all the way down to 5 minute. Nice pop. Gonna create a bit of a doji here. But I just want to see if this trend stays and holds. We're at our third deviation of that trend. So I'm gonna keep that there. Let's drop down a little bit. Where's my VWAP? Oh, we're far from the VWAP. We are far from the VWAP. VWAP is sitting at 580. got one of my alerts that came in, but I don't want to scalp right now. Take a nice solid day swing trade. So we're just expanding that range, And mind you, we're already in all-time highs. Let me go ahead and load up my brokerages. Get my thinkorswim in place. Looks like my meta is kind of kicking my butt with UPS is over here acting silly. We'll see how that goes. But I'll park that up here. Come on, get there. All right, perfect. And I'm going to go get my Robin Hood. The hood. And park that up here. All right. Let's see if we can find something. So we still could expand in that upper register of it. It keeps on, bubbling itself up. Wonder what they're looking for. I thought about looking for 24,000. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought that we could get up in that area here, but on the daily, when we kind of hit the brakes a little bit right here and here, I was like, we probably run out of steam. We probably need a solid pullback. So I'm wondering, can we pull back to like 23.2, maybe even a little bit lower, and that feels a little bit more comfortable for them to push it up. But just gotta sit and wait and be patient. Let's not do anything reckless. We got 8 minutes into that opening range is done. Patience, patience, patience. That's the other part of this game is patience. It feels reckless trying to get into any of this from here. It really does feel like it. Especially we're getting close to 650. Like that next one probably could be a nice little rejection off of 650 in itself. Yep, they see we get into that 645 right now. They're kind of using that 645 as a rejection point, but I don't think it's going to last. I think we're going to get a little higher than that. We're just way too close to 650 for them not to at least try and test it out. Would have been great to be in a part of that bottom, but didn't see that coming. Didn't want to take the chance. I knew it was kind of selling off here, and if we go over into the news, let me see. Get our news up. Where are you? If we go over to the news for today, we had a balance of trade. So I knew that was going to be a little tricky. Let me refresh and see what type of effect to the dollar did it have. And it was bullish for the dollar. Yeah, exactly. So pushing up like this is just the market where it gets into these irrational modes, and they probably was just looking for a level here. This was a nice little move, 53 points to the upside, but don't chase the cat because the cat does scratch back. So patience, patience, patience. All right, let's get out of the news. Let's come right back into our chart. Kind of look like we're going to get this strong impulsive candle. I want to say that this 5-minute fair value gap will hold. I'm going to mark it off just to kind of see what happens, but I can see this thing kind of giving that up also, so it's going to be fun to kind of see. That's going to be a very, very interesting area of contention. Get a little bit of a fist fight from the Bears and the Bulls. Patience, folks, patience. I would love after this 5 minute that they just go ahead and retest into that area, because that would make things a little fun, and see how much are they willing to give there. Oh my God, Microsoft is still pumping. That thing's at 517. Netflix is still falling. Almost got to like 1400. I won't be surprised that they're accumulating to get back to that 1400. All right, let's see if we can get a pullback here. How you feel, NQ? Do you want to give us a pullback? Get us back down into this area so we can enjoy this fair value gap. All right, let me go ahead and put my other chart over here while we wait for this to pan out. Let me put you over here. Which one is this one? No, I'm not going to do that one yet. So we're going to deal with this. Let's put you here. Expand. And run through my list. Let's see a couple things that came through on the alert log. Was Starbucks and UPS. UPS is starting to pull back a little bit, but I had a feeling that it might do something like that. UPS. See what's going on over there. Getting into the 94s and 96, yeah. Oh, they barely miss earnings. Oh, this is the market is so fickle. I think this is going to be a knee-jerk reaction type of bounce. We'll see how that goes. What else we got? We got Starbucks. Starbucks. Their earnings is tonight. Interesting. Guess we got a nice little push up. We'll leave that bad boy alone. Alright, let me just go ahead and go into my watch list and check some other stuff out. And then over back at NQ, we got 2 minutes and 56 seconds until this candle closes. So we'll see how that goes. Gotta be patient. Gotta be patient. But this was a massive, massive move. I feel like I'm missing one of my indicators. I think you are missing something. Let's get down here. I am missing a time frame, I think. New York, Tokyo. Yeah, it's not showing here. Oh, I know why. Because I'm not on the 15-minute. That's why. It's not showing. That should clear that up. New York is really trying to hold down. Oh, nice solid break at that fair 88. Oh, here comes our fair value gap. I am considering, let me get down to a lower time frame. Let's see if we get a nice reversal somewhere around here. I'm anticipating it. Does it break down further into the fair value gap? Kind of creating a little bit of a micro downtrend coming down. Let me draw my trend lines on a smaller time frame. All right, we're starting to. Ooh, they took them out. I was like, we're starting to build a little bit of a tiny little base. I want to try to see if I can keep my stop loss tight. Alright, they're still pushing it down. Interesting rejection here. We're at stranger danger. Gonna see if we can get above stranger danger. I'm gonna take one shot here. I'm gonna see if I can hold on to that little tiny one right there. I am looking for us to get above here again. And here again. Which account is this? Is this a 100K count? Yeah, it's a 100K count. Okay. Here again. And then the ultimate one is going to be probably somewhere around here. Let's see if that actually pans out. That's a massive sell-off. Probably going to stop it at $100. Yep, $100. Only because it looks like they're going to go ahead and test more into that fair value gap. I want to see another reversal before I take this again. So I'm probably going to set this up again. See, they got back into that fair value gap one more time. See if we give ourselves a little bit of a bounce here. Because this is this 5-minute fair value gap. Looks like they're about to fill the whole thing, right? That's the funny thing about fair value gaps. You don't know which one's going to fill and which one's going to go ahead and bounce. Let's come back over to the 15-minute. Alright, going to take another shot at it and see what happens. Another $100 at this. And 70, 75. Just seeing if this fair value gap can give us some strength as a refill area. Again, we're in all-time highs, so this can go completely wrong. That's why I'm only risking another $100. Nothing spectacular. Nothing adventurous. Just $100 to see if I am right. Let's get that 6 back in there too. Ooh, yep, that's it. I was about to put the 6 right back. All right, so we gave it 2 shots at that. So just patience at this point. So down 198, and we'll just see if there's something a little bit better. Let's check out gold real quick and see if there's anything going on that side while I keep my eye on the smaller time frame. We might come all the way down into this area here and leave a smidge of the fair value gap here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. All right, let me adjust that line right there. You're no longer a pivot. I want to see what they do with this price action here. We rejected off of it. We filled the fair value gap. So when I see stuff like this, it makes me think like, well, all the bulls that were here, they got out the market because they made their money at the top and they basically let the sellers have control. So we got a nice little solid micro trend here. They're putting pressure onto this the uptrend line. Possible reversal off of a block. I'm more bullish than bearish only because of these all-time highs. I do not want to go against the all-time highs. but does not mean that I am right. So you're just going to run the plan. All right, let's see if this gives it its bounce. Ooh, we are coming through like butter. We got 10 minutes into the jobs opening, so I might wait for the jobs opening because I don't see any other bullish structure. All this bullish structure is going to get destroyed. I'm going to wait for the 5 minute to close, and I'm probably going to play to the downside for opening range downside, because we're going to close our line right there. Okay, so take that. This one I'm going to risk about 175 to 200, only because I'm giving room for the fact that we could be coming down and they just needed to build it up. Let's get a sell stop down here. See if we can take out some of this imbalance. All right, cool. That's perfect. Do we got any more? I got a target at I was gonna get another one. Damn it. I should have planned this out a little bit better. I might take one off when I see 700. Yep, take one off, and I'm gonna just let the runner run because we're coming up to that block. Let's see if I can hold on to this a little bit. I'll take $100 in profit. That's where my stop, mental stop is. I haven't put a physical stop yet. Mental stop. $100 profit on this. Let's see if we can find another target down here. They might come down to this level here. Oh, 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 oh. Stop looking for targets. All right, got my $100. All right, that was solid. I cleaned up my loss of 200, and I'm positive 418. Can't complain about that. Nice little bounce off that 200. Solid opening range breakout right there. We're sitting under a fair value gap, so I won't be surprised that now that we disrespected this fair value gap, and I know ICT folks are hearing me saying disrespected fair value gap. That's not what it's called. Look, it's just how I remember it. I apologize. All right, so don't come for me. I learned it with trial and error more than actually going through the whole entire videos of ICT. But now, trading psychology, I guess that's how I work it. So these trend lines, especially when we broke this pivot and this pivot, there's probably a pullback just for them to drop it. So we got micro trend here, and now we're getting more of a major trend, at least compared to what was the major trend over here. And we're probably going to keep on cascading down, looking for possible rejection here. Coming back to the block. Got these blocks here. Could get a sell-off here. That's what I was saying. We were so far away from the VWAP. Let me put a VWAP over here on this chart. I'm not going to keep it there. I just want to point something out to y'all. So we tried to touch the VWAP here. They said no. We tried to touch it here. No, 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 no. Over here. This was at about 10:40 last night Eastern. And we had the 50 cross over it, and that's kind of like the momentum that it was riding on. And when we got to the open, we were so far away from it, I felt like the supporters for the VWAP was probably going to be the next ones buying over here. As they, you got VWAP traders, you got 50 EMA traders. The 50 EMA traders was making their money. Like everybody accumulated, and as soon as it touched the VWAP, the volume has shifted. So I'm thinking that's why we did this move. Whatever goes into motion usually stays in motion, hence the reason why we dropped. And then the new buyers just stepped in at the 200. So let's do this. When was the last time we touched the 200? Not there, 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 not there. Right there is when it was in the middle of a death cross around 1600, 1610. So it's been pushing ever since here as we're starting to build a 5-minute golden cross. Kind of give you an idea. So this is the first time we touched the 200 after. If we don't break this trend, this can cause some major problems for the upside, folks. So did we just counter trend trade? Yes, we did. Is it something that I suggest to the faint of heart or the rookies? No, I don't. But if this micro trend cannot catch it, we might be in the middle of a complete shift from our all-time highs, and we're going to start dumping everything. So let's see. We got 5 minutes left. Since I'm up $400, I think I would rather take a trade after 10 o'clock and see what the numbers have. Let's go over to the news and look at what we're going to be dealing with. So it's JOLTS job openings, consumer confidence. Again, I like Michigan sentiment more than consumer confidence, but it does still have an effect in the market. So just keep that in mind. If this turns out to be bullish for the dollar, that dollar's already been powered up ever since yesterday. It's really going to do something vicious here and probably takes a lot of this stuff out. So job quits. I'm more worried about this than this because unemployment is more of a concern for me than people just quitting their jobs. I think during the pandemic, this was probably more important than the other. And when people were doing the PPP to try to keep employees and all that stuff. So that's probably the key one. Based on this price action that's happening here, if we break back above this level again, 23,590, this thing is going to take off to the upside. So we probably just had our pullback for us to take it right back down. Don't want to do that right now. I'd rather just patiently wait for that new 5-minute candle. Oh, sorry, new 4-hour candle, new 1 hour, new 2 hour. We're going to get all that at 10 o'clock. Then for me to try to take this chance to play to the downside. I can anticipate that some of the bulls are probably accumulating their positions, trying to play it to the upside. And that's what I'm going to try to avoid. So patience. Checking some of my messages while I wait for this. Almost looking like a double bottom. If I come over to the 1 minute, you'll see it a little bit better. Kind of got a little bit of a tweezer. We got ourselves a little bit of a doji right here on that 1 minute. And they're probably going to try to break this down one more time. But if this is our base right off this 800, this thing could probably give it a nice little push. But, Oh! Did y'all just see that? That's why I said I didn't want to play anything to the downside. Did you just see that spike that just happened right into that order block? I'm telling you, when news is around, especially with the fact that later on in this week, on Wednesday, we're going to have Jay Powell running his mouth and interest rate decisions. Like, that's going to really rock the market. So, if you got some positions that has a lot of time, like I got some September contracts, I'm holding on to my September stuff, but anything that is less than that, I'm getting rid of because anything can happen. Yes, high risk, high reward, but this is just not the time that you want to kind of play around with the market. Look at that. And the way that just spiked up right there on that 1 minute, I would say maybe wait 2 minutes, like 10:02 before you start trading, because this thing could have been a spike through, and as soon as the news come out, they wait and hold, and then whatever volume they just put in to push it up, they might just yank it right back out in the middle of this. Because again, we're under a bearish fair value gap on that 5 minute. We're still there, right? I did say when we cross this level, it's going to go ahead and take off, which we're starting to do so, but again, I'm hesitant on that only because that news is coming. It's right around the corner. Right around the corner. All right, we had VWAP. VWAP is sitting at 590-ish. Getting above VWAP probably would play well. Oh my God, this is a really, really nice bump and run to play to the upside. But that volume is scary on how they just jumped it in. Last thing I want to do is give that $400 back. I'll probably find a better position, better timing, better climate. I just don't want to get hit by a tornado. Yeah, that happened at like right there. Nice impulsive move. That impulsive move was from like 57 to 50, 73 to 86, somewhere around there. Yeah, that would be reckless, Jeff. Just relax. All right, so we got our news. Oh, bearish for the dollar on the jobs. Let's see what the consumer confidence is. Now, don't run into this, because this could be just them baiting with this news, knowing that they're going to put more weight on balance of trade, and then they just reject it. We are under an order block. We're under a fair value gap. We're trying to get to it. All my alerts are going off. It's saying go long, go long. Hey, we ain't going long. Not at all. Not yet. Not yet. All right, so consumer confidence is bullish for the dollar. So we got a mixed bag. That's what I was afraid of. So with this mixed bag, you're gonna get some people that's probably gonna be like, I'm gonna just sit back and relax. So is the volume going to be where we want it? Maybe not, especially with the Fed interest rate going to be decided tomorrow. Oh my God, just too much. Just too much. I'll probably play the fair value gap fill. If we get back inside of here again, I'll play that fill up. That's what I'll probably do. But I gotta wait until it closes above that 593 on one of my time frames. I don't want to just throw that money out there. Look at that. Look at that rejection. Look at that. Nah. All right, here comes the beginning of our micro trend. We could get a bounce here, so it might feel a little choppy if you are playing it to the downside. Let me just go ahead and guide y'all just in case y'all lend this trade to the downside. If you're into the downside, this is a VWAP rejection, and we could probably just push ourselves down. Actually, you know what? Let me switch to this screen. I want to go to the 1 minute for y'all. I'm gonna get real granular for y'all. Let's do this. You gotta see this. This is like a bear flag, right? And coming off of new highs, this can be very intimidating to the bulls. I don't think they would try to test that bear flag, knowing that initial push could have been inside of here. The funny thing about it is that we're technically on this uptrend to here, so could it be that we are getting a little bit of a reprieve from everybody that played it to the upside from here? And let me go ahead and just mark this off. Come on, one more. There we go. I'm so tiny that sometimes this thing's there. There we go. Got it. Right? So now we got this uptrend. And then when we kind of zoom it in, that's our pivot here. So this is the fist fight that we're dealing with, because they're trying to stay above the pivot. And that's why I was saying, be careful. And you could kind of see that when we was getting closer to the news. So now the bulls, okay, so now the bulls are trying to get back up in here, and they could be dealing with it like this, knowing that this micro trend is what they're trying to keep. So if this part fails, after doing all that work, especially before the market gave the news like they did earlier, this could be the reason why we start to cascade all the way down. It breaks this pivot. I can adjust that trend line, and we just dump down some more. All right, maybe I should lighten my leverage and take a stab at this. I need to pull back. If I was going to be in it, I should have been in it from somewhere around here. It's going to be tricky trying to play this down. The 1 minute's on my side, though. Break of the pivot, maybe? Just too much to decide. Kind of looks like an H, right, folks? Got a nice little H pattern here. Like that. And then if I do this, it looks like an H. Come on, get it on bottom. There we go. So you got that bottom, bing, kind of like that. All right, so this is double bottom territory. If they're going to bounce it, it has to bounce here. which I don't think so. Netflix is dropping. Let's see. Let me go run through some of this tech. Meta's dropping. Microsoft dropping. A lot of red in the market. A lot of red. Royal Caribbean is dropping. Well, they already dropped from the pre-market anyways. Tesla's dropping $5. And we haven't even broke no real pivots. Like, if we get, like, I would be bullish if we get above 606. Let's just say this thing double bottoms, right? A safe entry for y'all will probably be 606. The reason is, if we get above here and get into the center pivot of this fair value gap, this thing will feel relatively easy. That will be the start of your double bottom right here. That could have been my pullback right there. That might be the pullback that I need, so I can play this back down to the downside. All right, let's find ourselves a target if I'm going to play it to the downside. Let me go to 30 minute. Let me give myself some room. Come on, internet. Yeah. Yeah, that's dangerous. And that is asking for trouble. Yeah, nah. 15 minutes. All right. Let me just see if I can find something that will make this feasible. I feel like we're going to bounce more than we actually do. Why is the internet running so slow? If you ever face this in the middle of trading cycle, it's best to kind of like really pull back away from the market. And that's what's happening now. Look at this. This thing is really not going to load up my 15 minutes. It's taking its sweet time. All right. If at first you don't succeed, go get yourself another chart. Let me grab my knife entry and bring this bad boy here. Let's see if this will work. And it's not my internet connection. Let's see. It will not show me the 15-minute chart. That is hilarious. Oh, there we go. Now I finally did. Oh, finally reset it on that side. Let's go. All right. Now we're back. Targets here. No. Same order block that I saw on the 30-minute is the same order block. I don't think so. I don't. You're better off trying to play like a bounce than to play a pop, but you're going against the current of the opening range breakout. I do see some bullish divergences. Like, for example, like this cross up was supposed to be a cross up, and then they just liquidated them. So they made them really uncross right there. Oof, that was a flash. Why did you just flash like that? But we're failing to really make lower lows on this histogram. All right, let's take a stab. I'm gonna risk $50 here. Let's see if I can make this happen. All right, gonna put my stop loss into profit. Get a nice little spike. All right, gonna go ahead and push it further into profit. I'm gonna trail it really super tight because of this climate. Oh, perfect. There we go, 270. Let's lock in because we're getting close to where we've rejected before. Gonna lock it a little bit more. There we go, nice little spike. I'm looking forward to get through to 580 or stop me out. Come on, get to 580. Don't come get me. Don't come get me. Don't just leave me alone. Leave me alone. Come on. Get up there. Don't you dare. That's why putting stop loss and profit is one of my most important things when I have it, especially when I know we're in a very volatile situation. But if they accumulate here, they took me out. All right, I'll take that. Good scalp. Up $600. But could we have gotten up there? Yeah, we could have. That's a possibility, but nah, don't want to take that chance. Nice cross up here on this 1 minute. Let's see if the 5 minute is following suit. 5 minutes pointing down. They gotta have a fist fight to that. Let's see what the 15 minute looks like. 15 minute. That's the one that gave the uncross, which I'm not a fan of. The problem is we had a bullish fair value gap that we were sitting on, and then we put in a bearish one, and they're trying to fight against the bearish one. Let me mark this off. Between 577 to 583 is bearish. Oh, Lord. I was supposed to send something to my wife. She gonna be mad. Hold on. Let me just send something to her real quick. Oh, look at that. I'm telling you, this thing looks like it's about to go ahead and just take off and like really punch the bears in the chest. Oh, man. That 578, that's what I'm looking at. 578. It might come right back to VWAP. VWAP is sitting at 588 as the volume just keeps on shifting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's what it looks like to me. Let's come back down to the 5 minute. And then we'll probably wrap up on this 5 minute candle. That way I can go talk to my people. There we go. There's that 582. And right there, we're probably going to get a smack here. If not 588. Oh, that was a good pop. I should have went ahead and gave it another chance. That's what I was looking to target earlier. And then they went ahead and stopped me out. So I'm happy with the 600. Can't complain about that. Let me see what else is falling. Oh, Spotify is falling. They lost 10%. And that's the part. I didn't understand how Spotify would have been that high anyways. Let me go take a peek on their chart. They must have missed earnings. Where are you, Spot? There you go. What's the earnings result? It was supposed to be this morning, right? Yeah, today the 29th. Massive drop off. This ticker about a month ago was an $800 stock. Almost 800, 784. And it's back down to like 625. That can be very frustrating for traders. Oh, this is that move. 588. Can he get to 588? Got 2 minutes. And then we'll tap out. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. Share it to your friends and family. Let them know that I bring some gems to y'all as this bullish divergence on this 1 minute is playing out. Look at that thing. You got a nice little drop here. You had a nice little spike here. Bullish divergence because we're failing to make lower lows on the histogram, lower lows on stochastic. This was the sweep, push, and if these traders are still in, that'll push right into there. That will give us our double top. I mean, not double top, our W. Damn, that was pretty. That was so pretty. But I'd rather walk away with $600 than to give all of it back. Because the market is like that, folks. It is like that. So this is our order block. That's why I said I didn't want to play this. We already did one stab. This is the second stab. This is the recover of that. So now that order block is probably giving us hell. Always remember, whenever you mark an order block, what turned into previous support turns into resistance, and it was support here until it wasn't, and now it's a resistance area. If we can break through this resistance and break through this order block, this W is going to print something vicious to the upside. What it do, Rod? Good morning. But we about to tap out of here. We got like 16 seconds on this candle, so let's go ahead and do that now. I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate all of y'all and all of y'all amazing get rich mode, right? Because the goal is get rich and fit trying. I got to go ahead and find somebody's gym to go ahead and at least get a mile in of walking. So I'm going to go ahead and spend that time doing that. That said, I bid you a fond farewell, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a great day.